All right, guys, I'm gonna splice this in after the fact on this video and then blend it. You know, it would have looked seamless, you know, but except I just told you that because sometimes I don't think I had. Anyway, I apologize. There was internet troubles on. This is now at 2:23 Thursday morning. I want to get this up as the last March video of March because it is the monthly knife club for March. I couldn't get this going. I couldn't do the live stream. So, you know, I apologize to my Patreon team who normally gets to see stuff early. You know, they get early access and they get to comment on stuff and we can kind of talk about stuff before the channel at large gets to see it. But sorry about that. I want to get this as the last video in March though, because it actually, you know, it got here in March and everything. So let's go ahead and we will skip the intro stuff to the original video and let's take a look at this monthly knife club Onyx box. All right, so that's a big box. VKnives. So we've seen one VKnives before, and it was a folder that I honestly was not too thrilled with. I thought it was kind of good quality materials, but I was like, what are they going for with this? So let's see. We've got. Did I forget? I did. Forgot the card. So let's see. So what do we got here? So we have the VKnives Frontier Survivor Fixed Blade. Okay. What? Oh, I just saw PB&J and I had to go back. I gotta read this card. Let me read this card because I have no. All right. Once more, lucky Onyx members, this month we bring a badass knife from VKnives, the Frontier Survivor. This fixed blade is made from a chonky. See, you know, I can't. People use the word chonky. Well, sorry guys, break time. Chonky to me means Brad Harvey, who you've never heard of, but he was my battle buddy. He was the only other enlisted dude in my class at weapons school at Nellis in 2015. And this is back before things were quite so PC, but he was a white dude that only, like, he had the biggest thing for Asian women, so his call sign was, yes, this might offend people, I'm just letting you know, his call sign was Chonky, which stood for Chinese honky. Again, I told you, it was back before the big giant PC purge in the military. And yeah, so anyway, whenever I hear Chonky or see Chonky, I think of Brad Harvey, who is a slightly shorter than me, much chubbier than me. Brilliant, by the way, brilliant weapons-centric mind, but he didn't quite make it through the class. Anyway, okay. Gorgeous Japanese wife. But of course she's Japanese, because, you know, he's chunky. We also called him the King of PACAF, Pacific Air Forces, because he managed to get an assignment to Korea and to Japan and back to Korea and to somewhere else in Japan and back to Korea. Like, he just refused to come back to the States. Anyway, where were we? 0.22 inch piece of D2 tool steel with a black PVD finish. I'm not a big fan of PVD, but one day I should talk about the difference between PVD and like Cerakote and like DLC and all those things. For edge, a black PVD finish for edge retention. PVD has nothing to do with edge retention and corrosion resistance. The dual layer finger grooves along the jimping thumb ramp make the knife go with your hand like peaches and cream or PB&J. That's the part I saw, PB&J, and I was like, what the hell? The sheath in injection molded. I think that should say the sheath is injection molded with Tech-Lock style attachment and built-in carbide sharpener. Ooh. That doesn't bode well. I don't know. When I see carbide sharpener, I also think of fixed angle guide sharpeners, and that makes me go, ugh, like the feeling when you bite into tinfoil. So your knife is always sharp and ready for you. So here are the specs. I love Monthly Knife Club because they give me the specs, and of course I've got camera shadow, so there we go. Specs. And the value of this knife, if you look for it around the internet, you're going to find it for anywhere between $152.96, what an odd number, and $179.85. So, again, value of the box is there. let's take a look at the knife. It is a heavy thing, and their boxes, by the way, are some of the like coolest boxes. Oh, my tank. You guys have been seeing this in various steps. This is a PTSD therapy project for me. I'm making a Russian B-72, T-72B1, but see how the Z has been, like, they painted it green? It's captured and in use by Ukrainian forces. They have roughly painted, anyway, that's why the tank is there. And because somebody asked last time, like, the only thing wrong with that tank is that it's not have the turret blown off, blah, 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 and I had mentioned something about it. Anyway. Sorry, guys. I'm flighty today. I'm excited today. I'm in a good mood today. It's because the world hasn't gone to shit yet today. So, VKnives. They've got these great boxes. I mean, these really great boxes. They're pretty tough. Human-made, right? So, not made by Skynet, and that's good. We like that. And this is made in Taiwan. We currently manufacture in U.S., Taiwan, Italy, and China. So remember, Taiwan are the good guys, China, not the bad guys, China. Although I'm getting sick of people talking about, like, ugh. I get it. We should strive to not to buy American whenever possible, but now people are ranting about if you buy from China, you're like paying for Chinese bulls to kill Americans. People, we are not fighting it out. With China has, please believe me, from military intel type sorts, China has zero interest in fighting a war with us. Like they lose such a huge trading partner, as do we, if we actually fight a war with China. China is more of a sibling rivalry, and I'm not going to get into it. We're not going to fight a war with China. So anyway, but Taiwan is our ally. We like Taiwan. I often say the good China, and people like when I say that. So, what do we got in the box? We've got some extra screws. We've got a wrench. And like I said, then we've got this nice, some good foam in there for whatever, so you can keep for the knife, or if you wanted to, you can refoam this for holding whatever else you want. Make a little survival kit in there. It's got a weather stripping bead around it, so it is waterproof, and it is very securely locking. I love these boxes. These, I wonder how much this adds. But anyway, great box. Some of the best packaging I've ever seen. So, and this is the other side. Yeah. This reminds me of a Southern Grind fixed blade. Bigger than the Southern Grind I'm thinking of, but it kind of reminds me in shape of the Southern Grind fixed blade. And I have it, and it's on the channel, and I'll look it up before I post the video and put a linky thing up there so you can check it out. But that is very comfortable, though, I have to tell you. That is good. I like that. What is this? I can't really read that. Maybe it'll come off better on camera and I can read it. I don't know. So I don't know what this particular PVD coating is. I mentioned we'll talk about the difference between PVD. PVD is a method of putting a coating on. It's not an actual substance. So you can have different elements in your PVD coating. I don't know what this one particularly is. I don't know if this is a clear over a bead blast finish, or if this is what the coating looks like. I would like to be able to look it up and figure out what the actual bead blast coating is. And again, I'll check it out, see if I can find it, and put it in text later or not. But it is a very comfortable feeling knife. The weight and balance, little back heavy here. No, yeah, little back heavy at the choil, but not overly so. It's kind of hard to find a perfect balance point. It would be somewhere right between these two choils, but it doesn't feel, it's not like back heavy, like out of balance. You can just, some people are going to know exactly what I'm talking about here, and some are not. but it's got that kind of, it puts the weight right by your wrist, which is really good for control over the knife. Not that it's heavy, like, it's off balance, but just it puts that extra weight right by your wrist. So you're not trying to wield, you know, Excalibur around, but I like that. I like the weight on it very much. I really do. Let's come back to the knife in a second. Let's take a look at our tech lock here. And, I mean, it looks pretty standard. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. Looks pretty standard. Double lock, tech lock. Okay. And this is not so much this is not a Kydex, but a polymer. So this is probably injection molded. Did it say injection molded? I probably already said that. Yeah, it's injection molded, as opposed to Kydex, which is kind of hot press molded around the knife. Pros and cons. But of course you can remount this however you want. But this will be a very sturdy way to lock this on. A little bit of rattle. Nice retention though. A little bit of rattle in there. What are you gonna do? So lightweight though on the sheath. Now, I generally hate these fixed angle sharpeners. This one happens to be, interestingly, molded. I thought it was like a come apart like piece in there. If you look, it's molded into the two halves. It's directly part of the two halves of the injection molded sheath. That's interesting. So they must lay the carbide into the mold and then inject the plastic around it. Now, I still do hate these, but for this particular knife, and only this particular knife, the angle hopefully will give them faith and credit. They would have set up the angle to be exactly what this knife needs. So when you just get one of these fixed, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking about a lot of other stuff besides the knife today, guys, and I apologize for that. And there's some people that are going to be put off by that, and I recognize that. I'm apologizing to you. At least I didn't slap you in the face on stage at the Oscars. So normally when you have one of these fixed angles, they expect the company expects you to take any knife with any bevel at any angle and run it through there and sharpen your knife. And you can ruin a knife if the angle is off by even a few degrees. In this one kind of case, I'm going to, again, it's a huge leap of faith. I'm going to assume that the company has set the very proper angle, and this is kind of an odd angle. This is not, I mean, I don't have calipers to check this out or anything, but normally you find them set automatically at 20, 25 degrees, something like that. I would hope that this is the exact angle for this knife, and this knife only, because that's what it comes with, so you would not be doing, edge destruction. You wouldn't be messing with your edge if you were to use this. On this knife and this knife only, I still wouldn't use it. Unless I saw somebody else use it, and I got a chance to check out their blade and see what the end result is. But that's it's a big leap of faith on my part if I were to assume that it was correctly set just for this. But that's what I would assume if they're going to include it with this knife. I don't know. But that is one time I would actually use a fixed angle sharpener, is if I knew it was set for the exact knife it came with, and I was happy with the angle that it came with. And so when I showed you the really shiny work that Dave did for me to rehabilitate my favorite knife in the world, this Hinderer, you can see how the original edge angle is. This has a much not steeper, much more shallow angle with a much bigger bevel now. So if I were to use the original angle that Hinderer set this at, even a fixed angle sharpener just set for a Hinderer fresh out of the box, it would not work for this. It would actually mess this up. So that's the moral of that story. Only if you want the factory bevel and angle and blah 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 blah. Sorry guys, I know I'm talking a lot on this one, but there's a lot to say with this that applies to many things. So anyway, back to the blade. Nice blade. Love the fact that you get so much cutting surface. You guys know me and how I feel about D2 as a hard use steel. And I think D2 it's good for folders. It makes a good, a good hard use blade. I don't know, it's probably not my favorite EDC steel, nah. But in a knife this thick, and this is a nice thick blade stock, for this purpose, D2 is a great choice. Edge retention properties on it are fantastic, even after all these years with a lot of the other steels that they put out. Edge retention compared to maintenance, toughness to hardness, and all those things, and I talked about it, in another video. This is a good choice. I don't know why they did this extra grind in there. That's just to look cool, I guess, because if you take a look at the edge, it's a single bevel, angle all the way across. So it looks cool, but yeah. I wonder if this right here, where steel is showing through this coating, if that is all, like I said, if it's a clear coating, and this is just bead blasted, and that is, if that's just like lasered through or something, because that would be a place where you might see some rust develop on D2. D2 is prone to corrosion because of the very high carbon content. That edge feels really nice. I mean, it's such a comfortable knife to hold, though. That's the thing. It's a really comfortable knife to hold in your hand. They did a really great job. This scale feels just a little, by a millimeter misaligned towards the top, and I have a feeling that if I just loosen up those screws and just go boop and let it seat and tighten it up, it feels like the kind of thing that could be fixed just really quick. And that does give me faith that these things are, they are assembled a little bit by hand, because that's the kind of mistake that is made by somebody putting it together by hand. But you don't, you'd have to look for it to feel it, run your nail, but like when it's in your hand, it's not a hot spot or anything. Chamfered edges right there, there's no 90-degree angle to really dig into your hand. So even though it is a rather, I know the steel billet is relatively wide as steel billets go, but overall it's a slim handle in the knife, but it's comfortable. The G10 is nicely done. It looks like a really nice piece of G10, high quality, and then it's got that texturing, that kind of mild texturing, just for you to get a good grip. And, now that I'm thinking about it, I just mentioned how narrow it is, but if you had a gloved hand on, it would, it's a good size for you to still get a good hand around it with gloves. I love that, even with my big hands, I got a nice big handful of it. And this jimping is really nice up here. It really feels good. Running dangerously low on the cutting money. I'm gonna have to find some more. Little rough. I think it could use a nice strop. Yeah, it could use a stropping. Maybe even a little run on a diamond. Not gonna lie. I don't know what they sharpen this to, but just a quick run on a fine diamond, and then just a little strop, and I feel like we would have this shaving. Let's see. Let's do this. Yeah. This needs a little work. I legitimately thought I had a leather strop, like right over here, but I don't. You know what's a shame? I don't have... Where's the, from the very recent ADC Club, that little leather sheathy guy. I don't know where that is either. But, so, I'm not thrilled with the edge right out of the box, to tell you the truth. Now, I'm sure it would cut if we needed it to. Let's see. Will it pew? It did need some work. Wow, the edge out of the box, it's very clean cut, but it took some work. I'm going to move you, tank. I don't want you getting punched by accident. Although that would make you a more realistic looking Russian tank. Let's see. Slice. Yeah, I felt it travel down the length of the blade, though. I'm not going to do the pull through. I'm not. I'm just not. Because that's what kind of knife this is. And it's a nice clean cut, but this edge out of the box really could use some work, especially for the, for the price range it's in. It would not, but again, it would not take that much. It doesn't need to be redone. It just needs a last really fine diamond run real quick, and then a strop, and I believe it'd be ready to do its very fine cutting thing. I mean, it's just like 95% solution on the blade. I am a little disappointed in the way the blade is holding up. Overall, though, aesthetics wise, nice knife. Feel, nice knife. Balance, nice knife. You know, but PVD coatings, we'll talk more. Somebody remind me later. We'll talk more about them versus other kinds of coatings. I still think, you know, price wise, dollar to dollar, the value's in the box. So, and maybe I'll get a chance to, you know, put a little edge on this. And I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. And I think once I get a nice sharpened edge on there, I'll like it some more. And it would be something I might carry on a summertime trip. But so I was going with the weather. The weather was just starting to get warm, and now it's like below freezing again. I don't know what's going on. So, what are your thoughts, guys? What do you think? I know there are some people that said they were going to try Monthly Knife Club this month, and I'll be honest, I'm not thrilled that this is your first Onyx knife. I'm not thrilled for you that this is your first one. I would have hoped that you got like a really, really cool, fancy folder to carry around. But give it another month. Remember, you know, my 3 strikes in a row rule. Although I might have to change that to like 3 in a row, or like 4 over 6 months, or 4 over a year, you know, and you're done. But anyway, this is one for the fixed blade fans. So I'm looking at you, good old boy. This is one for good old boy. That's what it is. He's my #1 top fixed blade fan that I know. Definitely worth checking out with a refined edge. Because I think the other qualities in it, with like a really razor sharp edge, would make this a really good outdoors knife. I have a feeling. So, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts? Where are you going from here? I would like to know. And yes, I agree with everybody who's going to say that for the price of this knife, you should get a razor sharp blade out of the package. That's a foregone conclusion. We already know that. But everything else about it, what do you think? What are you thinking? Let's talk about it. So. My apologies again to the Patreon folks who are not going to see this up front and early. But on the other hand, Patreon guys, we got your next Patreon giveaway about to start. So hope that makes up for it. I want my first April video to be a giveaway on the main channel too. So my first video in April is going to be giving away that Boba Fett Wesson. So we got that to look forward to. Anyway, guys, looking forward to the conversation on this and some of the other things we talked about in this video. All right. As always, thank you for watching. There's a link to Monthly Knife Club in the video description if you want to check out their stuff. I like to help them out as much as I can. They are an awesome company. Can't all be winners, you know, superstar knives, but they are a good company that tries to take good care of their customers and everything. So I like to promote them as much as I can because of all the dirtbag companies out there, you know. You guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you. And stand by for the next video, which will be our April giveaway video.